was born and raised in Compton, on the border of Watts and Compton, so not a completely great area. Well, especially back in the 1990s, it's a pretty terrible area, you know, back around that time. I remember just being in the house and hearing gunshots right next door, which was like this house where, you know, there was a lot of suspicious activity going on, separated by an alley. So a lot of rival gangs used to come through that alley, and I'm not sure what they did. Around that time, like, I kind of stayed in the house, you know, because I didn't want to get shot. And I had to figure out, you know, what kind of hobbies I should take part in to avoid just, you know, being bored and being outside and being that story, being that person who just, you know, that kid who randomly got shot by people that, or like I got put into a situation that I definitely didn't deserve to be in, you know? So before I figured that out, I was already sort of drifting towards that part of a lifestyle. Just hanging out with the wrong people, hanging out with people who were sort of aspiring to be gang members. The entire time that I was doing that, I never really felt like I was I never really felt like I should have been a part of that kind of group. And then a little later down the line, one of those friends that I hung out with, he went to jail for life. And then one of my other friends, that sort of happened to him too. And once I started seeing that trend, I'm like, yeah, I can't be a part of this. So I have to incorporate some friends who like what I like to do, who like the game. There's countless amounts of times that I could have ended up being one of those guys, you know? I've never done anything extremely bad, but I've done some things that aren't great. Sometime during middle school and high school, I got caught up in a dare, and it got me arrested, and it got me put on house arrest. What happened was I invited a lot of my friends over, and we used to play like a lot of games and competitive games, and they never knew I was on house arrest either. They always asked me, you know, hey, why don't you come outside anymore? And I never told them. I just told them that I didn't feel like coming outside. That's an embarrassing story, but you know, it definitely plays a part in the reason why, you know, I turned out to be like this, because it showed me the qualities of building yourself or, you know, being built by the wrong people, and it definitely paid off.
I am a cosplayer, also a costume designer. I started to do cosplay when I was like 14 years old, and it evolved into my career and also my hobby. This is a character from the most recent Mortal Kombat. I was invited by Warner Games to be an ambassador, and it was really awesome to make this character at this time, because people were like, oh my gosh, this character just came out yesterday and you already had a costume. The costume, me and my sister won the last championship. It was very stressful and painful to be inside this costume, because other than transport 20 kilos just on your waist, it was definitely worth it, the pain and everything, because we won the World Cup of cosplay with this. I've accomplished pretty much a lot of things I could never imagine. I've been outside my country a few times due to cosplay. I am 4 times world champion in cosplay. I'm actually the most awarded cosplay in the entire world. I was always a very creative kid, and I knew that I wanted to work with fashion. But my family was very severe, and they wouldn't allow me to. My dad was a very tough guy. When I grew up, we didn't have a good relationship, but cosplay brought us together because he was very good with craftsmanship. I saw the cosplay as an escape for this creativity I had, and it opened plenty of doors for me.
처음에 가장 힘들었던 부모님의 반대가 컸어요. 왜냐하면 아무래도 이게 이제 직업으로서 모델이 잡히지는 않은 상태였잖아요. 그래서 모델이다 보니까 모델의 나이는 아무래도 여자가 한정적으로 한계가 있다고 보는데 어떻게 이거랑 하면 되겠어? 뭐 사실 힘들었던 적도 있고 뭐 많이 그만두려고 했던 적도 있는데
In Asia, they have like the Sparrow Cats from Korea, and they are a really amazing team of cosplay. It's a quite different scene from what we have in Brazil, because in Brazil, mostly people do cosplay for competitions, because we are very competitive. Obrigado. Até mais. Oi.
E aí, o que você comprou por lá?
Eu peguei os tecidos da Ari
Sim.
e foi tipo, yeah! Aí, vamos ver esse daqui primeiro,
Sim.
que é a jaqueta do...
Inspirada no
do
Bakugou.
Bakugou.
Sim.
E eu gosto. Acho que dá o efeito, ele fecha bem direitinho aqui.
Legal.
Aqui.
Vamos ver se a proporção tá certa.
We're actually working on a set of 9 tails, and we put a good search for the material that has the effect we want to achieve. The character is like a pop star.
Yeah,
and
it's
she
almost a
shines, she
K-popper.
glows. Yeah, it's like a K-popper on League of Legends, and then we want her to shine, and we are going to insert fairy lights in it. Yeah.
It's gonna steal the show.
Yeah, we always are into put some part of ourselves into the costumes that make the character more alive on stage. Because it's okay to be like this, but you can be something else on stage. You have like 2 or 3 minutes of performance to captivate the audience, so why not to give in something extra?
This is, I got this in 2011. It's an award for broadcasting. I was in Korea for 3 years. I had made almost no money within the first year of the show coming out. Got this award, it meant a lot to me. I still can't believe I'm actually able to still do this. It's kind of crazy. When I was starting this, it's like I just didn't want to have a real job. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to work in an office. I didn't want to go do something that I hated. And so to have it go appreciated and stuff like that is pretty cool. I am a professional game caster. My main focus is StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, but I've casted over 18 different titles. When I was growing up in Kansas, I was a StarCraft 1 pro gamer, which at that time meant I didn't really make very much money, but I did manage to qualify for some tournaments, including the USA Finals. When I was at the USA Finals, after losing to my brother, who ended up winning the tournament, I noticed there was nobody on stage that was giving commentary where they were familiar with the game. So I just offered to go up there on stage and talk. I really had fun the first time I broadcasted because all I did at that time was play StarCraft. So it didn't really take that much thinking, and I always enjoyed, showing my friends the game or talking to my friends who I competed against. I love to talk to them about the game. So it was a pretty natural setting, and from there, it just picked up on and on. I was in college at the time that this happened, but I kept picking up gigs overseas. I went to Italy, I went to Germany. I did various gigs like in Las Vegas and Hollywood. And eventually, I landed a full-time job in South Korea. I had to drop out. I had 1 semester left, but I didn't know if it was going to work, but I thought it was just too much of a good opportunity to turn down. And I have never finished college, and I've never gone back home. Obviously, there were gaming tournaments everywhere in the world, but Seoul was the place where they put it on TV. They had commentary. They had teams where the teams all lived together in a house. So this is basically the Mecca.
Esports is so huge here in Korea, it's quite phenomenal. And it isn't just a new thing like it is in a lot of the rest of the world. Here in Korea, they've been doing professional StarCraft tournaments, what they're called the Star Leagues, for over 18 years now. Today, I'm gonna go to the foreign pro gamer house here in Korea, and we're gonna get to see and check that out and see how pro gamers actually live and work and practice. What's going on today? It's quiet in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very many people here.
Yeah, no kidding. So the reason we call it a foreigner house is because Koreans tend to dominate StarCraft across the world.
StarCraft has a special place in Korea. It's always kind of been Korea's game. It's extremely ingrained in the history of esports in Korea specifically.
So it's kind of funny that we have to bring foreigners together here to the best country in the world for this game to compete against the Koreans. You know, get strategies and ideas together, and it's a really nice thing to have like this in a group setting because there's so much that you can learn from each other. On the wall here, you can see a lot of the accomplishments of various players that have come through this house. You can see there's a lot of men, but there is one woman who competes in StarCraft 2. She's one of the best in the world. Her name is Scarlett. Right now, esports is definitely more of a male-dominated thing, especially players. I think culturally, back when esports was first starting and video games were becoming very, very popular, it was mostly like a boys thing. The toys were marketed to boys. We want more women players for sure. We want them because it will be great for esports, and it hopefully will kind of give esports a better light in terms of being seen across the world as this accepting, inclusive thing. So in here, it's a little messy, you can see, but this is one of the rooms, a pretty typical room of where pro players will stay. You kind of pay for this space as a player to have the privilege to practice with the best of the best.
Most of these players are people that make their living playing video games professionally. Well, we're all probably top 1% or higher.
Of people who have an aspiration to become a pro gamer, I would say probably 0.5% make it. Most will not get there. It is quite a difficult path. You're going to need to start playing when you're in middle school or high school age. It's not easy to become a pro gamer. It requires a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice, and you're going to be need to grinding probably 10 hours minimum every day of the game.
I have a friend named Dave, and he basically used to kick my ass in Street Fighter all the time. He would just, beat me every single day, back to back to back, with the character named Zangief. And I got so tired of it that I ended up picking the same character too. So I went home and I secretly trained online. And I fought some of the best people in the world in Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And when I went back to his house, I destroyed him. Oh yes, that's gonna put me in the lead. I feel like a wide receiver.
Okay, all right, okay.
It was definitely a fun experience doing that, and it showed me that, if you practice and if you have the right rivals and the right motivation to get better, you can definitely get better.
We started hanging out when we was like 9 or 10, but we really started gaming heavy together around middle school. And there used to just be like random games. Mm-hmm.
Anything, really.
F-Zero real heavy, Fantasy Star.
Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, the old wrestling games? Yeah.
We had an emulated Xbox with a bunch of arcade games on it, and all we did was play all the arcade games like Last Blade, Neo Geo, King of Fighters, just every single fighting game you can think of, we played it. When I would just be at home and a lot of my friends came over to play me, and I would just smoke them in every single game we played, I would just think to myself man, I'm beating everyone and everything, and these guys, they're not pros, but something's telling me that the other guys wouldn't be able to stop me either. So I went to my first tournament, and it was a tournament with one of the best Ryu players in a game called Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. And at that tournament, I ended up beating him, and I was like, yeah, man, I really can do it, you know? Like I was starting to believe in myself. So I went to my next tournament, which was Evo. 2010, there were a lot of strong opponents, and I ended up beating all of them.
Give it out, will he get the punish? Oh, he got it! He got it! Get it, Snake Eyes! Oh my God, Snake Eyes chasing him down!
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is it. There's no bigger achievement that you can have for this game. You know, I'm a world champion.